a Guatemalan, fighting socialism in her country. She says, now I find this interesting, socialism, she says, is not in human nature. Good point. I want to know more about that. Gloria Alvarez, this lady on your screens, she is with us now, and she joins us here on Barney and Company. Tell me about this. You say socialism is not part of human nature. Explain that.
Yes, well, neuroscience and psychology have found out that we are wired to have self-esteem, to have self-interest, and to pursue our own goals. This is something that maybe Karl Marx didn't know, because not even Sigmund Freud was, current when Marx wrote the Communist Manifesto. But now that we know this, socialism really is just something that psychologically doesn't go with human nature.
We are individuals.
Yeah.
We demand our own individual freedom, our own personalities, our own choices. But socialism, you say, is the opposite of that?
Is the opposite, because it's the sacrifice of your individual needs and wants and dreams in the sacrifice of an imaginary collective, that it's never defined who is that collective. It's always the dictator's will. It doesn't matter if it's the Soviet Union or China or Venezuela. It's always the individual sacrificing his life, liberty or private property for that.
Isn't it more fair? I think of Latin America as always moving towards socialism, always wanting to be more fair because of income inequality.
Yep.
You don't think that socialism is fair? No?
I mean, the only equality it gives you is more equality in misery for the people, but the dictators are always living better than the media. So what happens in Latin America is that we all have cronyism, and we don't have free markets. It's just that Venezuela and Cuba are the extreme in one end, but that doesn't mean that the rest of the countries have capitalism or free market. We all have a little bit of socialism.
You wanted to run for the presidency of Guatemala.
Yes.
But you're not allowed to.
No.
You're too young? Is that it?
I am too young, yes. I'm 34, and according to the law, you have to be 40. And also, my candidacy was as an independent with no political party, and also that's illegal.
Okay, what do you think you would have polled quite well had you been allowed to run?
I think so. I mean, I did it because I'm sick of the mediocrity of the candidates. And what happened with my candidacy is that people started questioning how come someone that can't run has more of a structure of what she would do. Like, my campaign was 10 specific points, and they could contrast that and analyze it versus the people that were actually running.
Would a totally free market, I take it that you are a free market person.
Yes, I'm
individual liberty above everything. You're a libertarian.
Yeah, with objectivist views as well.
That was very difficult to put that into practice in a place like Guatemala.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think it's difficult everywhere.
That's true, that's right, because people's self-interest is, well, that's a problem. But your relatives, your grandfather was from Hungary, was it?
Yes.
And your mom or dad from Cuba?
My dad is from Cuba, and my grandfather from my mom's side is Hungarian, yeah.
So as you were growing up, you heard the horror stories of communism and socialism.
Yep.
And you've not forgotten them?
No, in fact, what I see in Venezuela is the same that my grandparents told me about Cuba. And when I do the fight all over Latin America, people are like, wow, how can you get it so easily? And it's like, it's not that I get it so easily, it's that history repeats itself. And when you have bad ideas, it's always miserable realities.
You better come back and see us soon, okay? Come back before you run for the presidency in Guatemala. We'll give you a good boost there. Gloria Alvarez, thank you very much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.